Hi everyone. I'm going to tell you about a resource called Britannica Library today. And you might recognise the name Britannica because they're famous for producing encyclopedias, both in hard copy and online. And Britannica Library is an amazing resource which has been especially developed for public libraries. And it's something which I think is going to be useful while we're home learning, but also potentially a really valuable resource for use in the classroom as well. So you can see here on my screen, this is the kind of opening page to Britannica Library. And it's amazing. It's basically an online encyclopedia. But if I go into junior here, so junior is aimed at sort of primary age children. So that's probably the area we're most interested in. Student is teenagers and adult is adult. So we can make good use of it too. And once you're in, you can see that you get this lovely quiz, first of all, at the top, which changes daily. So that's interesting. But basically, it's a place where reliable information has been put together and laid out in an accessible manner so that children can access it. So we all know that kind of terrible thing when you ask a child to research something or to look something up so that they can use it in their work or in a project they're doing, and then they just fall down a complete sort of rabbit hole on the internet, and they find lots of stuff, but they can't necessarily decipher what's fact and what's opinion and what's kind of a reliable source for them to put their trust in. So something like Britannica Library cuts all of that out. All of the rabbit hole is gone because you can direct them to one place on the internet, and on here they can search up here in the bar. So for example, I could search, let's just search for tree. There we go. Here comes tree. And you get a really nicely laid out selection of information. So you get some images which you can scroll through. Sometimes there's videos that they can watch. You get nice subheadings, so it's broken down into manageable chunks. And if they're interested in something particular, they can click through and move on to something else. But while they're here, you can notice at the top, reading level 1 is roughly about primary school age. Reading level 2 will take you into the student version. So that's aimed more at high school students. I'm just going to flick back. So you probably want it set at reading level 1 for your classes. What's nice is that if you have non-readers or you teach younger children, then they don't necessarily have to have someone there to read it to them. There's this button here.
The largest and oldest living things on Earth are trees.
There we go. So anything is accessible to any age child or whatever reading ability they're currently at. So they can access all the same information as anybody else. It's easy to print from here or to save it or to send it. And if I go back, you can see they can explore in a way which would suit them. So they could explore through articles like we've just seen, or they might want to filter it just to images and videos. You can also see there's lots of stuff on the animal kingdom there, which is really nice. I just want to show you in geography, you've got World Atlas, which is a bit like Google Maps. But in here, I was playing with this the other day. So, for example, my class are not studying Central African. They are studying China at the moment. So I can select China, and then I'm going to compare it to United Kingdom because that's where we live. There it is. And then instantly I get all this brought up, which is fabulous. So I get some good statistics comparing the two countries, really useful for a geography project. And then I can also look in more detail at some articles. So I could go to an article purely about China. And we're actually looking at ancient China. So I'm going to go into history, and I can choose to have it to read to me, or I can look through. Or Shang, we were looking at the Shang Dynasty, and then I can flick through and have a look at that as well. Okay, so you can see that it's super easy to use, really kind of intuitive to navigate. So it's easy for us to get our heads around quickly, and also for children to be able to access, and probably without the help of an adult as well, which is good. And obviously all of the content on there has been checked and is age appropriate. So you can safely request that they use this website and be confident that they're not going to stumble across anything that you don't want them to see. So how do you access it? Well, access is completely free. All you need is to be a member of Suffolk Libraries. Okay, so if you're not a member of Suffolk Libraries, then you can join the library online. At the moment, as the libraries are shut, you can't go in and use your card. But within a day of signing up, your library card number will be sent to you via email so that you can start using any online resources. So that includes the Britannica library. It also includes access to a really wide range of ebooks. They have an e-library, so it's worth getting if children are struggling to access reading materials. So all you need is your library card. That's actually my class one. And then you just need the long number, which is on the back of your library card. So once you've got your library card, and it doesn't have to be, if it's a child, they could be using a parent's card. They just need the library card number. Once you've signed up to Suffolk Libraries, you then need to go to the children's homework page, and you can see it's the first one at the top, Visit Britannica for Children. Now, I can't seem to sign out my computer from it. So when I click on it, it passes me through. What will happen is the first time you do that, it will just request that you put in your library card number. You don't need the PIN or anything else. Put it in once, and then it seems to keep you signed in, which is quite handy. And then I selected that I prefer to go to the junior section because I teach primary. But if you want to switch, then you can just click at the top and then you can choose between junior, student and adult. So let's go back to junior. So all your students or your pupils need to do is get a library card number, or you need to get a library card number as well. And then you can use this completely free as much as you like and as often as you like. So if you've got any questions, then don't hesitate to contact me. I'm still playing with it and finding out new things. So it's an amazing resource. And I think that you'll probably also see the benefits in the classroom. I'm excited to use this in the classroom to kind of give children a bit more direction with their research, because it's a skill learning to conduct proper research. Okay, the other thing that I just wanted to mention before I go is something which I'm going to send out, or I'll send to Paul and he can send to everybody. So I was curious about the kind of access the children in my class have to reading materials during lockdown. So I spent one of our Google Meet sessions doing a bit of a survey and having a discussion. And then I put together all of their ideas, plus some ideas from some of the adults about how to access reading materials. And then I've put it into this Google Docs. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that this gets out to everybody, because there's some quite useful things. There's some things on here that I hadn't heard of. And I was particularly worried. I think we've all got children in our class that we worry about who might not have brilliant access to reading materials at home. So although it doesn't necessarily make up for not having access to public libraries or school library, there are lots of things on here, lots of apps and places that you can go, and a surprising amount is free as well. So I'll make sure that that gets out to you, and then if you need it, it's there and you can make use of it. Okay, thank you very much for listening.